God, you guys, what a day I have had so far. We've been up since about 6 o'clock figuring things out for our car. I think I mentioned it, but yeah, I have made some very poor decisions over the years, financing vehicles and whatnot. I won't get into it, but I would say I'm an expert at what not to do. Everything's gonna work out. And then we will be free of payments on our car. So yeah, that's something exciting going on in my life that I wanted to share with you. Just waiting for my vocal mixing assignment to get marked. We'll probably do our keys assignment today, continue on with our ear training review, and we're having a good Thursday. I don't even know what to say. I'm feeling good. I hope you are. I hope you had a good week. This is the back half of Unit 4, Level 4. Just had a nice lengthy conversation about artist mentality with a friend. He's been having, I wouldn't say struggles, he's doing well. And as it goes in music, there's always room for improvement. So helping him talk about what Icon talks about in their Art of Flow class, and that's the duality of things. And how I kind of word it is, you have your flow state, you have your creative kind of spurt, and then once that kind of wears off and you're left with mixing and more of the technical things, that can be a bit of a drag. What I'm actually talking about with my mentor this quarter as well is breaking out of the mentality that working on that technical stuff after the creative phase is kind of dwindled isn't a drag, and is actually a very critical part of the process to having professional sounding music. So anyways, that's enough from me. I'm gonna get to work. Got one or two more things to sign for my car, and then it will be mine. Woo! All right, we'll talk to you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, July 30th, and we're in our car. We're celebrating today. I can't believe we paid off our car. Obviously, super fortunate to be in a position where I can do that kind of thing. But honestly, this car is kind of part of my backup plan. Should things not work out the way that I am manifesting them, I'll sell this car in a heartbeat to continue my music career. So it's a luxury, that is for sure. I'm really grateful that I actually committed to one car and got myself out of debt. We actually finished up everything really early this week because we had so many appointments going on. So we've got a keys assignment left. Naturally, we have our Friday vlog segment coming up. I'm feeling really good today. We have another heat wave right now where I live on the west coast of Canada. So yeah, it's getting really hot, really fast in this car with it off. So we're gonna get inside the studio, which is right back there, and let's get to work. Well, hello there. Welcome back to the Friday Fireside Chat. As I said before, this is an open vlog segment where we can do tutorials, we can chit chat, or we can simply take a moment, take a breath, and decompress from our busy week. Let's do that. Take a deep breath in, hold, and out. That feels better. The past few chats we've had have been demonstrations of some of the stuff that I've been learning. I really wanted to give a more detailed review of how the most recent Q&A went with Icon Alumni Nightmare. The Q&As are part of my top 3 favorite things about Icon Collective. The Nightmare Q&A was absolutely no exception to that. Hearing an artist piece together the dots of their story that led them to the success that they have now is one of the most motivating things to listen to. So what I'd like to do is share with you a few of the key things that stood out to me at the Nightmare Q&A. I've seen this be a bit of a common trend with some of the alumni, but upon leaving Icon, building up your catalog to about 10 to even 20 different tracks. Basically, the point is to have a back catalog of tracks, so when you're grinding, trying to get signed, or self-releasing, if a label or a bigger artist hears these tracks and they ask you for something, you've got a ton of music ready to go. It's a super smart thing to do, and I'm working towards that currently. The next thing he talked about was artists second-guessing themselves. He said, this is always going to happen. The thing he noticed most about that, though, is the time it takes to get to the place where you're releasing quality music is where most people quit. They get too down on themselves, they don't think they're progressing, and then they quit. He also mentioned that one of the bigger factors that had him getting down on himself was listening to too many people. You know, whether it was a SoundCloud comment or something on his Instagram or Twitter, he was really taking those criticisms to heart. And so through some of his relationships with other producers, other people who went through Icon at the same time as him, he was able to lock down a solid community of people that actually cared about him, who could give him proper feedback. Super, super important stuff. We can't please everyone, so we can't be listening to every tiny little bit of advice, or it's going to drive you crazy. The last thing that really stood out to me, probably the biggest thing that stood out to me, was perception is reality. And so he was talking about taking gigs. I mean, it's super exciting to try to schmooze and get to know people and, open for some big artists and try to get your name in there. And so he told a story where he didn't play any shows for about a year or so after Icon. And this was all about building. It was all about using those 10 tracks to try to build a name for himself. And so they purposely didn't play any shows. He went on to say that a lot of the times what happens is if you kind of get stuck with the promoters as an opener, then people perceive you as an opening act. The people who come to those shows aren't there to see you anyways. And so what they did is they booked NGHTMRE as a headline act at a small club with a smaller capacity. I think very humbly he said, it was his first show and the majority of the people there were his close friends and family. But the fact of the matter, perception-wise, is that he headlined that gig. He was the main act of that night. The reality of the situation is he did that. He was the headliner. Sure, it was a small venue, small crowd, but they marketed him as the headliner. This was all part of the bigger picture to build him up as a headlining act rather than an opener. So yeah, perception is the reality. If you promote yourself as a headlining artist, even if no one shows up to start, that's all about paying your dues, and that's all about the perception, because if that's what you want to be doing, if you want to be on your own tours, if you want to be launching your own festivals, you need to be the main artist on the bill as much as you possibly can. So there we have it. I absolutely loved NGHTMRE's Q&A. These are some huge, huge takeaways for me. Some absolutely amazing nuggets of information based on real experience of somebody who is making it in the industry right now. All right, that is it for the Friday Fireside Chat today. Here we are, back in the studio. It's the very end of July. Saturday, July 31st. That's it for July. I can't even believe it. Summer's flying by. Today is going to be a full-on sound design day. Yeah, I think I am going to pull up the synth Diva and give that a go. Once I figure out the layout of it, it's going to be pretty well just like any other synth. But anyways, yeah, short and sweet little Saturday intro. Super, super excited to see how far I get with UHE Diva synthesizer, and I'm stoked to show you what we come up with. Welcome back to another episode of Sound Design Saturday. And you can see it in the background there. We used the synthesizer Diva today. As I shared, I'm probably least comfortable with this plugin. We did a few pretty basic sounds, but I think we got a pretty solid grasp on this synthesizer today. Let's check them out. Presets, Elated presets, basic pluck. Bass lead. Cool techno pluck. Detuned little pluck lead. Fun little organ. Fun little saw lead. Nice saw lead. And last but not least, a trance rolling bass. So there you have it. Applying the same fundamentals of sound design that I learned at Icon Collective, I was able to create pretty solid sounds. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't prefer Diva. I think it has a unique tone to it. I think the sounds are very much based off old analog synths. I much prefer Dune. It feels a lot more modern. It just feels like there's so much more you can get out of your sounds with a synth like Dune. But you know what? Sound Design Saturday is all about experimentation. It's all about trying out all my different synthesizers, and obviously we've been using Dune a lot. So to branch out, to kind of get the feels for a synth like Diva, I feel really accomplished today, because when I first started doing Sound Design Saturday, I shied away from Diva because it felt a little too complicated for where I was at. So to be able to make these sounds as good as I did, pretty dang good if you ask me. Alright, that is it for Sound Design Saturday today. We'll see you next week.